us. Feel the rush, come join us. Fans don't lie, we unite under the stadium lights. Every team, every score, we always hunger for more. Big plays, sideline views, breaking down the latest news. No holds barred, just our take. This is where legends await. Live play, sideline views, breaking down the latest news. No holds barred, just our take. This is where legends awake. Friday nights and Sunday games, we know all the biggest names. Huddled with the crew we trust. Football feeds the fire in us. Fans don't lie, we unite under the stadium lights. Every team, every score, we always hunger for more. Friday nights and Sunday games, we know all the biggest names. Huddle with the crew we trust. Football feeds the fire in us. Fan day morning, feeling alive. Jerseys on, we're ready to die. In the fan zone, we'll come on. Let's cheer out, let's stand tall. Back and forth, the stories fly. Who's the best? Fans can't lie. Touchdowns, tackles, we discuss. Feel the rush, come join us.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Fan Zone Live. It's been a couple weeks. We had Oceanside on with us a few weeks ago, and we got Tim back this week. Tim, how have you been?
I'm doing good. Glad to start getting back into the thick of things. Obviously the league's going to be announcing a few more things very shortly, but camp's going. It just means we're just one step closer to the kickoff of the 2026 AF1 season.
So, and here we are. It's been I think last time we talked, Miguel, it was the 2024 season. I think it was even with the Iowa Rampage coaches show back then. So it's great to have you back with us. Kind of a different atmosphere. I'm figuring this out a little more than I had back then. But Miguel, welcome. How have you been?
I've been great. I am going to hold a bit of a grudge with you having Oceanside here before Washington, but happy to be here. Happy to talk about arena football, AF1, with both of you and the Washington Wolfpack.
And it is great to have you with us. We so to cover my bases, we had all the expansion teams on during this off season. So you're the first returning team we have this year. So
I'll take it.
So, okay, tell us a little bit about you, because I know a lot of folks, don't really necessarily know who you are, where you came from, how you got to the point you're at now. So tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, the road to glory, as I like to call it. So, our path to the Washington Wolfpack, is a little wild and windy. I played a year of semi-pro football. Decided that was a great midlife crisis activity to start. Led to making some connections locally when the AFL at the time wanted to relaunch. They were targeting the Everett, Washington market. Long story short, we put together a ownership team, felt that we could build this from the ground up and be successful where some other teams in Everett's history didn't have the staying power, and we were able to, and I'll say this as diplomatically as possible, we were able to weather some of the problems from the league structure in year one, to be left standing and launch the AF1 as one of its founding members with the other teams that we have today. So, my background, it's not been in sports. I work in a human resources type field, and our majority owner owns a HVAC construction supply company. We just have a passion for our community, developing this sport within our community, and really creating something special for Washington and specifically the Everett market.
I think that passion, you're talking about the passion and just being local and being part of the community. I think it shows in the branding you guys have put together. I mean,
Yeah.
without a doubt, you guys got some phenomenal branding, and then the colors and the logo. It's amazing.
Yes, we pride ourselves in that, and we pride ourselves being local. I live in Everett. Our majority owner lives in the town right next to here. He's been lived here his whole life. I'm relatively new to the Everett area. Moved out here in 2018, but we are proud of our area. We are proud of working in our community. Our branding has always been around incorporating the local communities with our color scheme. I don't know that everyone has naturally figured it out until I point it out, but we pretty much utilize every color of every pro sports team and major college team in the Seattle area into our logo, which gives us so many unique colors that it makes it very challenging at time to get printed on various memorabilia, which is always in a high demand amongst our fan base, and the most common commented thing nationwide on all of the Twitter posts and kind of the national look of arena football. So we're proud of what we've been able to do, and it's fun. We have a great time doing the work, and we're just really excited. We're 2 weeks away. I think less than 2 weeks away, which is a little scary, but this is what we do the work for, to build towards opening day and that first kickoff, and seeing all the families, all our fans in the stands.
So are we going to see a logo tweak here in the future when the Supersonics come back?
We'll have to look at that. That's certainly an exciting development, and I'll be the first one to pitch that we need to get that G League team up in Everett. Let's add some more sports. We love sports in the Everett area, and I can talk a little bit more about that. But our baseball team here is getting a bigger complex. The local hockey team, the Everett Silvertips, are doing phenomenal. They're going to make a big run here in the playoffs, and I hope they bring their championship to Everett. And the Aqua Sox did it last year with their championship, and we're looking at bringing the arena crown to Everett, Washington. We'll do that sweep here.
I'm down for that trip.
Yeah, by the way, you talk about all your different teams. I mean, it can't help too, because I'm sure it could help you when it comes to getting a new relationship with sponsors and stuff like that. You talk about your different teams in the area, and you talk about the Aqua Sox. I think they have a very good partnership with Funko, as an example. I'm waiting for the Washington Wolfpack Funko. Is that coming to a store near you soon, I hope?
They told me I'm not good looking enough to be a Funko, so we might have to get our mascot created. But no, Funko's been great to work with. They've been out to one of our games last year, and they've been to several of our events. Our partnership obviously different than with the baseball team, but it's a great business to have here locally. They've been great to work with in the past, and hopefully we'll. I always chuckle when I see a comment like Randy just posted in the corner, but no, Funko's great. Another thing, if they can Funkoize maybe our helmet, we can get start moving that product as well.
You
Well, I was about
save them for me if you get those. Save those for me. I
sure.
definitely want those.
I was about to say, you were talking about your merch and stuff before about how popular the logo when it comes to the merch and stuff like that. How many times have you been asked, when are you coming out with the mini helmets? Because I will admit, the design is so intricate. I can only imagine if you guys have started the process or may have looked into it, how hard it may potentially be just to create
Mhm.
something like that.
So Tim, that's a great question, and I will chalk you up as the 500th person to ask me that. And I will tell you, and if if I panned out into the room I'm sitting in, no one is more of a collectible of sports memorabilia than me. I want the Washington Wolfpack mini helmet. I've told the story a few times, and you mentioned it before, Scott. We have a great logo, our wolf with the color scheme, phenomenal. I was really excited about putting that logo on a helmet. And our majority owner, I like to tell this story because I always like to admit when I'm wrong. He had this idea that for a pro helmet, it should be a forward facing logo on the helmet, not outward facing. And he said, I think I'd like to work with our graphic designer and see if I can come up with something that's forward facing, that's cool, that fits with our image. And he asked me what I thought, and I said, that sounds like a lot of wasted time for not a lot of payoff at the end. And I could not have been more wrong with with that description. But with how complex our helmet design is, and you see this logo here, it's certainly that's complex enough. It is challenging to get the sticker replica to be able to place on the mini helmet. The right now the mini helmets, with where we've tried to source those, would really be cost prohibitive, which is why that's been more of a back burner. I can say after the last show I was on where this question got asked, I did get a phone call afterwards from our majority owner, and he said, dude, we need to figure out this mini helmet thing soon. So we're gonna take another shot at that. But our helmets it's not an easy process. And our head coach posted on his social media today, we dropped off our helmets to get wrapped. We actually use a car wrapping company, local company named Wicked Wraps. They wrap our helmets. So it's a challenging process. It's not inexpensive, but we love the look. We love the reaction that we get. That process in and of itself, I think the design that you see was like number 34 in the options that were created with Kelly working, our majority owner, Kelly Fahey, working with our graphic designer. So they really, hit it out of the park. I've been taken out of creative decision making after that. Once I expressed my opinion. So more things will be coming. We've looked at some different options, and I hope now Tim, that you've become the 500th person to ask the question and doing it in a show here, I know I'm going to get the same phone call and say, why haven't you figured out the mini helmets yet? So those will be coming.
So, I was looking on my shoulder here. I've got one of the few wraparound helmets, mini helmet designs. Let me get rid of this stuff real quick here. And it would be incredibly difficult for you guys to do this because the Iowa Barnstormers, full wraparound, and they have to do this with 3 different pieces, one goggle, another goggle, and the centerpiece. So, I mean, yeah, it's easy to think, just print out a sticker, slap it on there. But when you're talking about putting it on the dome, it's nearly impossible to get it right.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm not 100% right on this, but I think it's 6 different, when they wrap our full-size helmet, I think it's 6 different pieces that it prints out. And fortunately, they are a top-notch professional company. If you've seen our truck, they wrapped our vehicle. They wrap a ton of vehicles in the area here. They're a phenomenal company, and I'm glad they're doing it, not me, because I would not be able to match that design.
Well, especially with the different helmet types. I mean, even just looking at this picture here,
Oh,
that
yeah,
center
no
helmet's
kidding.
different from the others.
Yeah, that's possibly the
Yes, and,
helmet.
and actually our
Green gridiron.
graphic designer designed different versions of the logo for each different helmet.
Wow.
She came out and measured each of the helmets to make sure that every single one of them was perfectly done.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That really is cool.
And it's worth it.
I'm
It
ha-
looks amazing. I mean,
I'm happy to be person number 500. At least it was a milestone. Um, I want to say this. One thing I was looking into the history of Everett, Miguel, when it came to indoor football. Obviously, there's been Everett has had a good history, or has had a history when it has come to indoor football, and then it finally graduated, quote unquote, graduated when the Everett Hawks came into the AF2. How does it feel that the current iteration of your franchise, the Washington Wolfpack, you will surpass the 2026 season? You guys will be the longest running arena style football team in the Everett area. You guys will surpass the AF2's Everett Hawks because they were only around for 2 years. So you guys are heading into year 3. What do you think it is that that puts the Wolfpack ahead of what was in Everett in years past?
I appreciate that question, and what you said is not lost on us. The putting this team here and going into year 3, making the plans for year 4, we're not just going to surpass the Everett Hawks. We are creating an institution, a sports institution in the city of Everett with the Washington Wolfpack. Again, sometimes I intentionally speak very diplomatically. The Everett Hawks exit from the Everett area didn't exactly leave the best taste in the community's mouth when it came to some business practices. And anyone who wants to Google the Everett Hawks can read about that history. And so it has been challenging to redefine what a professional arena football team looks like in the Everett area. If your only exposure is that, then that becomes your expectation, and that's what you associate all of arena football with. And just going into year 2, we're reading articles in the newspaper saying, here's another arena team that's going to fail just like the other teams failed. And I remember saying, my God, a new restaurant comes in after an old restaurant closes. The newspaper doesn't jump all over them and say, "Oh, this restaurant's going to close down. Don't bother getting attached." So we have had that chip on our shoulder to some extent going through this. But we really looked at creating a business plan and a business model that was different than we've seen with other arena style or indoor style football teams, where we really blitzed this ground up, bootstrap, reduced budgets, build the fan base, and then build the team around the fan base. Rather than what I describe with some other teams is, let's put everything on creating a winning product and people are just going to automatically come to our games. That doesn't work. It hasn't worked in at least the last 15 years of arena football. The history of arena and indoor football is filled with teams that have shut down, that have overspent trying to overproduce year 1, and many of them didn't even make it through year 1. So everything we've done has been intentional, with the idea that there is going to be a time where we pour in the resources to match this, building our fan base, building the community. And we're here. Not only are we going into year 3, of arena football, setting up for year 4. We've purchased a significant property in the city of Everett that we're developing our team headquarters and what will eventually be our indoor training facility right downtown Everett, about a block and a half away from the arena. There was a lumber company that closed down. We bought that property. So we have a huge 65,000 square foot lot with 3 buildings on it that we are developing into Wolfpack headquarters, where we're going to have our tailgates. We're going to have our main corporate offices. We're going to have a broadcasting area in there. So you're welcome to bring the Fan Zone Live to Everett, Washington, and use our facility, and creating that indoor training facility that we'll also be able to use for other community events, whether it be youth soccer. I have people asking me about roller derby, pickleball. We can do concerts. I'm a professional wrestler on the side. We certainly want to have professional wrestling shows there. And at our complex, we have a professional wrestling school and an MMA school, which are subleasing part of the area. So we're really focused on that developing that sports feel of downtown Everett. So this is not about just creating a team, having a team, getting to year 3, getting to year 4. We are creating that footprint. We want to be here year 25. And have that same length of stay that the Silver Tips have, that the Aqua Sox have, and really be part of the fabric of the community.
And I know you've been asked this before, and I'm trying to ask it in a different way, Miguel, because obviously I'm hearing there is a lot more than just wins and losses. I mean, everybody has seen what the product has, how many W's the product has given the area over the last 3 seasons, and I'm liking the way that you're approaching it. What do you think is the difference, though, between going that route, say, versus, and I'm just using them because they've been very, very successful, the Albanys. What do you think? Why go the route of, let's get the franchise on good footing and then win, as you're saying, versus Albany, where the team, again, another city with a lot of indoor history. What made you guys decide to go that route rather than, as you said, I mean, has it helped with, you talk about the newspapers and on previous teams, I guess you can say people don't forget. Is it that you're trying to make sure that they remember how your organization is trying to become better than what was in the past and trying to make a better name for themselves?
Yeah, I mean that's a great question, and I'm gonna. I don't know all of the details of how Albany has operated. I will probably say we're operating on different resources. We knew the resources that we had, and this was the best way we could utilize it. And I do want to point out that while this has been intentional and it's been growing. I mean, this is our statement year, both on and off the field. In addition to our external resources that we've put into our facility, and just kind of those extra amenities, and you're going to see Game 1 is going to look phenomenal here with the Washington Wolfpack. We also significantly added to our player payroll. So we have gone after higher profile players. We've kind of, given Coach Wells, finally given him the reins to go out and spend what was needed to create a team that's going to not just, be competitive to stay in the games, but to get those wins, to build towards being a playoff team. And we have championship aspirations. And I certainly don't believe, and I know teams, I don't think any team's publicly talking about what their payroll is, but I think we've moved from the bottom to the upper middle when it comes to player payroll. So it all goes in together because you have to get to the point where you're investing in the product, and we feel very comfortable with that. And part of what we've looked at is, are we being successful on those other metrics? We've nearly doubled our season ticket holders from last year to this year. So looking at that's hard to do when you finish 2-10 in a normal season.
That's impressive.
Between our single game tickets have just I think we just announced that they went on sale today. We've already, through group tickets and season tickets, sold more tickets for game one than we've ever sold for a game in the Washington Wolfpack history. So, and we've just started single game tickets. So this is going to be at a completely different atmosphere. And seeing those numbers, seeing those results, and seeing the response from advertisers, we've renewed virtually every single one of our advertisers from last year. We've expanded our advertising. We've had huge interest in floor suites from some of our advertisers. We're getting that validation from the market that we have been approaching this right. Now, as anyone in sports would say, like, you eventually have to get you have to get that return on the field as well, and we knew that going into this year, and that's why we've matched our support on the field with our support off the field. And everyone who's going to game one and sticks out this ride with us, they're going to be really happy with watching the Washington Wolfpack this season.
Well, I think that's something that's special about this game in particular is you can make the game. I mean, the game itself is so entertaining. And then if you pack on the entertainment around the game itself, you could lose every game, but still come out having a great time and not care about what the score is and can't wait to come back to the next one. And, and you guys have done that. You guys have put together a good product, a good, again, good brand, good, and it's showing. And that's how you guys are able to do these things that you're doing with a, 2-10 record.
I fell in love with this style of football, with the indoor game, back at the first season of the Lacrosse River Rats. So we're going way back into the memory bank. And I went to their opening game, and I think they lost 75-20, something in that nature. And I fell in love with the game then. So it is a great point. I can tell you, no one is harder on himself than Coach Wells. So he's ready for this to be a statement year for himself, just like we're ready for that with the team. We have an amazing group of players. I'm excited to put the football with Vincent Espinoza. We've got, I think, two of the best receivers in all of arena football on our team, and a great offensive line, and Coach Millie with that defense. They're going to be hard hitting. This is going to be a high scoring offense with a low scoring defense. This is going to be different. So people are going to have a great time at the games. They're going to see that entertainment. They're going to see those W's at the end, which is going to be extra exciting. And Albany's going to be tough. I'm sure Kentucky's going to be tough. Frankly, I think every team is putting together a really competitive roster. I think this season is going to be really exciting to watch.
Oh yeah, I think you're going to see much more level playing field this year for sure. Something you said there and it kind of stuck out to me is this really is Coach Wells' time to shine. That first year was chaos. We try not to talk about what happened then, but as chaos, rules changed mid-season. There was just tons of stuff going on, and it was his first exposure to arena ball. Now you got second year, things are a little more calm, but okay, now this is how the game is played. It's steady, everything. Now this year he knows. He knows what to expect. He knows how the game's played. I see a lot of growth coming out of him this year for sure. Absolutely.
Coach Wells is a phenomenal arena football coach. As far as I most of the season ticket holders from our first season have my cell phone number because I'm the one that has called many of them to talk about being season ticket holders. So I hear the chatter and I see the chatter online, and you know, from the 40,000-foot view, I can understand it. Being as close to the game as I am and kind of understanding our business model. And I've told Coach Wells, and I say it any time I can, you know, I have just as much to account for what our record has been for the past 2 years, because as the person controlling the purse strings, I've had him operate on a pretty tight budget. So this is going to be a great exposure year for Coach Wells, and the entire country, the AF1 fan base, is going to see the version of Coach Wells that we've known from an ownership group from day one that he's going to be. I've said it before. Coach Wells has never really been in the hot seat. We know he's got the talent. We know he's got the ability. We've put the players here. The players are excited about playing here, and everyone's gonna see this year what we've seen from day one.
And there is a learning curve, though. So it's basically what I'm getting at. There's a learning curve to this game. And there were a couple games last season where you guys honestly should have won. You guys had the ball with the right amount of time. They were your games to win, and just, you know, bad clock management. And again, that's the process you got to learn. And I feel like he's learned a lot, especially from those particular games last year. And, you know, when those mistakes don't happen, all of a sudden you got double, triple the wins that you had easy.
Yeah, a couple ill-timed fumbles. I remember a few of those games, and some drop passes, and it's tough because that's football. And it's part of the game, and you know, the record is what the record is, and we're still proud of our accomplishments, and we know this year we're going to be better. We're going to be significantly better, and it's going to be it's going to be a different experience. Everyone's still going to have a great time, but it is going to be a different experience.
Changes you talk about on when it comes to the team wise. What about anything that the fans will be able to look at when they come to the arena? I mean, are there going to be any modifications to over at the Angel of the Winds Arena whether it comes to you know, the different nights, you know, the different nights you may put on each game? I noticed that we know there's that new turf floating around, so I don't know. Are you guys upgrading the turf for the arena? Are there going to be any changes at the arena once people come to see a game?
This is another one of those worst kept secrets sort of things that we've talked about. Yes, we have a new field. That's going to be exciting to debut in true Washington Wolfpack fashion. You know, we want everyone to show up and see the field for the first time on game one, and we've got some interesting things that we're working on that front. We are you know, creating a variety of floor suites. We've created a special suite behind the end zone that we're calling our Ring of Honor, which is highlighting some of our you know, strongest partnerships in the community. So we're gonna the end zones are going to have more fans around them with specific suites. It's going to have some more advertising. We're working on adding some additional entertainment that's going to be in the concourse, and some different things that we're going to be doing at halftime and in breaks, and have some more promotional games during the game. So there's more that we're working on. One of the things we're extremely excited about with the proximity of our new building is enhancing our tailgating options. So before the game, come to 2730 Broadway Avenue in Everett. We're going to have a great tailgate set up. It'll be an opportunity to mingle with fans, see our new facility, really digest that experience, then come to the game and welcome the ambiance there, and watch great football.
How far from the arena is that?
It's the Kelly Fahey, our majority owner, says it's a good golf shot away. Okay. So for me, it's 3 golf shots away. But it's about 2 blocks. It's about 2 blocks north of the arena. So we're going to have, you know, our fan march to the game, and we've got some great promotions. We've got some promotional giveaways that we'll be having throughout the season. We've got a scarf that we're developing for our season ticket holders, which is going to be a nice touch. Kind of get that feeling with the World Cup games that are going to be here in the Seattle area come this, I think in a couple months here. Boy, everything's getting here close. So we're always looking for ways to maximize that fan experience. And I think that helps. It helps that we're fans. We're not necessarily football operations people or sports management people. We really look at this from the fan experience to make sure from the second they park their car until the game's finished and we do our autograph session, that you are having a good time.
That's awesome.
Also, there's some changes too, by the way. You're talking not only the turf, but I know for as an owner, this can be very frustrating to you. You've had, in the 3 seasons that you've played arena ball with the Wolfpack, you've had 3 different sets of uniforms, but this year seemed to be you guys have the league has gone all out with their partner with Under Armour. I'm curious to know. Obviously, it's a cost to the team itself. First, as an owner, as an example, do you like to do what they do in major soccer where they change their uniforms every year? Or would you rather, considering all the work you've put into the Under Armour stuff this year, would you rather keep them for a couple of years just to show them off?
Well, Tim, the first thing that I want to say is I am glad our uniforms are here before week 3 of the regular season.
Yeah.
As the team that received you're being very generous in saying that we had 3 uniforms. We had 4 uniforms.
True.
We had the 3 that were promised to us mid-February that showed up week 3, and then I as frustrating as it is, I like to tell this story too because I found out I was given fake tracking numbers. I was given assurances that our jerseys were here. They were, on a truck, headed to my house, only to find out, I think it was 3 days before our first game, that we probably weren't going to get our jerseys.
This is 24, right?
No, this is last season.
Last year.
This is last
season.
Okay.
So we had about 72 hours notice that we were not going to have our uniforms. And so we were able to secure a replacement uniform. And it was one of our season ticket holders who's done a little bit of work for us in the past that said, why don't you let me see? I think I can make a Velcro Wolfpack to go over the other team's name. To at least give some semblance of this being a Wolfpack jersey. And so he worked nonstop with 48 hours notice to create those Velcro images. And I know some fell off. If you watch our first game, by the end of the game, there some certainly had fallen off. But for someone like that to just step up and say, hey, I know we've got no time, we've got barely any ability to function, but I think I can do this. And he worked nonstop to get that done. And that's how we keep moving forward from our team. Every time we seem to get a setback, we put our heads together, we get our resources together, and we find a way to get out of it. But going back to your question about uniforms, I love this Under Armour partnership. I'm happy to be sporting the Under Armour brand any chance that I can. And Under Armour, I believe, is going to be a long-term fixture with the AF1. And I'm happy that we are moving away from what I would describe as frankly unprofessional entities trying to make a buck and are working with Under Armour. And I think that's going to be incredible for the long-term sustainability. My next thing might, might want to see, can we get a little more teal in our uniforms? Maybe get a third specialty uniform that features a little more teal. I love the teal color, but I'm happy with what they were able to put together and kind of our creative crew that participated in that. As I said before, no one wants me doing anything creative anymore for the team. So I'm hoping this design sticks around, that we can create that brand like our helmet. Our helmet isn't changing. We need to have that same look, I think, consistently. Although it is always fun to introduce a new design every now and again.
And I will admit, as an old school arena football fan, with I finally got the answer, but you guys are going back to the patch, the AF1 league patch on the uniforms. That's something that hasn't been done since I think the late 80s. So it's almost like a throwback in itself to old school arena football. So it's I think it's I think so far for what all of us seen, Scott, so far we love all the uniforms that the league has been able to help get Under Armour and partner with the teams.
Well, and none of this works without the league. This idea that we're all individual silos working under the umbrella of what this sport is just going to be a growth inhibitor. The Arena Football One is the pinnacle sports league in all of arena football or the indoor game broadly, and we need to be proud of that. We need to feature the league. We need to participate with the league. We need to help one another grow the league. So we just get that residual value when it comes to what we're creating. This isn't just about the Washington Wolfpack. This is about the strength of the AF1 and our member teams. We want all of our teams to be successful. We don't want them to necessarily be as good as us on the field, but we want them to be successful in their markets, and we want them to help grow the league, grow our league-wide partnerships, and get to the point that we're back in that heyday of what arena football has been. It was a very league-driven entity. Everybody knew the AFL. We need to have that same consistency with the AF1, and we're proud to work with the league. We're proud to be members of the league. I get frustrated because rumor mills come, and I think I read something that we were talking with other leagues. We're AF1. We're proud to be part of AF1. It's the only league that we're looking at. It's what I mean. We're in the major league. That's where we want to be.
So you mentioned, just talking about growth, and you mentioned earlier the worst kept secret. Pretty much everybody's waiting with bated breath about this. Where are we going to stream this year? And I know you're not. I don't want you to, get in trouble by saying anything, but you've got your own thing going on this year, right?
Yeah, so there will be streaming available for the AF1. I think everybody knows that. I don't think I'm going to get a side look from Jerry Kurz by saying that.
We've all gotten them at some point. So.
Yeah, I think everybody on this broadcast has gotten that eye.
But in addition to being part of the league streaming broadcast and the Vice broadcast, we have 4 games that are going to be on Vice. We signed a local broadcasting deal with one of our local channels that we'll be announcing, knock on wood, tomorrow morning. And that's got an additional both linear broadcast with an additional streaming option locally. So we've been really excited about that. We're going to be doing some more advertising with them. They're going to be promoting our game. And we think that's another component that's critical to our growth and kind of the growth of this brand of football. Because while I'm a bit of an old timer that fell in love with the game 20 plus years ago, we are introducing this sport to a new generation of fans, and we're getting them excited about it. And they don't have that history. They don't know who Kurt Warner is, or maybe they've heard of Kurt Warner, but they don't know the association with arena football. So having that local broadcast and being featured with other professional sports teams that are in the Seattle area, that's really exciting for us. And I hope that then becomes the model, going back to the AF1 and supporting our other teams. My hope is other broadcasting channels in all of the other markets see the success that we have here, and that can lead to additional broadcasting opportunities for other teams. And we've received nothing but support from our national partners when it comes to putting together that broadcast and getting the feed. And that's, again, it goes back to the benefit of the AF1, having that relationship, having that partnership. It's going back and thinking about year one, and that being my introduction to arena football management, just seeing how different things are now and seeing that collaboration and looking at Nashville bringing in Jeff Jarrett and his generations of promotional experience, working with him to help promote the brand, both Nashville but also the league, and there's no one that's more excited about helping other teams grow than Jeff Jarrett. It's a great partnership, and it's a great feeling, and starting to see the residual benefits from that. It's fun to see that. It's fun to see the good things that happen from the work that has been put in.
So thinking of local standouts that have an arena tie-in, Chris Matthews. I don't know if you remember that name from the Seahawks in the Super Bowl in 2014. Guy had the Seahawks won that year, easy MVP of the Super Bowl. He was an old barnstormer in the AFL. Bringing in a guy like that might be a good little local tie-in to somebody that really excelled.
Yeah, there's it's amazing when you start to look at the threads where some of those roots with arena football, how far they've gone, how many people in the league have some background in arena football, and because again, Kurt Warner is the name that pops up first to everyone's mind, but it's so much deeper.
A lot more than that.
So yeah, it's there's that tie-in locally, and I can't wait when we see some of our players advance to the next level and get to the NFL, and then we're that story. Players that started with the Washington Wolfpack.
Let's see, with Jeff Jarrett, you might, being a independent wrestler yourself, I'm sure you just kind of love having Jeff Jarrett on, up in the Nashville HQ, because I'm sure you could pick his brain a little bit. I mean, didn't he also at one point run TNA Impact? He was, and everybody knows Jeff Jarrett, whether if you're any type of wrestling fan, no matter what you watch these days, you know who Jeff Jarrett is.
Yeah, Jeff Jarrett created TNA wrestling out of the fairgrounds in Nashville on a weekly pay-per-view. Being an old school wrestling nerd, I remember those early days of TNA wrestling. My ego won't let me say anything other than Jeff Jarrett is the second most prominent professional wrestler in all of arena football ownership. Like I can't let my ego say anything other than that. But it's amazing just in thinking about his background with TNA wrestling and his promotions. That's what we're doing. We're creating this new version of arena football that's starting from the ground level. And so having someone involved that has that background, that has that promotions experience, generations of promotions experience, it's exciting even if you're not a wrestling fan. The fact that I grew up watching him on TV and rooting for him and being a fan it's something I never thought was going to be on my life bingo card. And same with working with Coach Fisher. Those are things that I never thought would happen. in my life, and it's just this arena football. It's a windy road. You never know where it's going to go. It's exciting, and but to your point, you brought up all of the reasons why having someone with that type of background would be exciting for anyone in arena football. But yes, as a self-identified wrestling nerd, it certainly is a great experience. We did take a picture together. He didn't charge me for it, so that was nice. So it is great. I'm so excited about where the AF1 is going, and I can't say enough. This is where you want your eyeballs this season.
You didn't wear your slap nuts T-shirt, did you, Miguel?
Nor did I give him a guitar, because I'm not sure what would happen with that. Maybe a Washington Wolfpack guitar will be in the future. Put our logo on it.
You talked about obviously with the change that was made, but we can basically say mid-season when the whole change went over to Jerry Curtis coming in and who he was able to bring in. After the original AFL folded in 2019, and then you had COVID in itself, but how, and as your model seems to be going, whether you're trying to get the wins, but you're also trying to draw the people, and you're trying to, as you're saying before, build the franchise first and build a name for yourself. And you talk about wrestling, it seems to be that every year, whether you are a wrestler, whether you are any type of an owner or a league in itself, you have to reinvent yourself or shift. You have to make a changes as quickly as you can, just so that you can make sure that you stay relevant in your market, but you're able to make sure that you bring people in and say that you're going to have a good time when they pay their money in order to come and watch you guys.
Yeah, being nimble is the game. There is no cookie cutter approach. We try 10 things and we hope 8 of them are successful. And then as some of those, fall off, we got to bring in 10 new things and hope 8 of them are successful. And that's just I mean, you're right. Reinventing yourself, reinventing the experience, not just plateauing. It's something that's constantly on our minds as far as the fan experience and kind of the game experience. Fortunately, our majority owner is a dreamer through and through, and I don't think there's a second where he's not thinking about how can we make the experience better? What can we do to improve? As the operations guy, that sometimes can leave me with a shiver because there's always something new to do, but it's exciting, and I think it's kind of an old cliche. The second it stops being exciting, maybe that's when it's time to walk away. But it is exciting, and that challenge, what you're describing as a challenge, that's what we look forward to. We enjoy the challenge. We enjoy looking at that. We enjoy that reinventing. We bought a new field. We're looking for ways to roll out the new field. Give that same awesome energy that we've had in the past, and it is just kind of that. What more can we do? And fortunately, we have a lot of great people around us that are helping come up with ideas and are willing to run with those ideas and take a risk and not feel like, okay, this one just didn't work. I'm sure there'll be something that we try that's just going to fall on its face, and we'll dust ourselves off and we'll move on to the next thing.
We talked about that. What about do you have any scheduled promo nights for the home games this year? Yes,
we have a different promo for each of our games. So we're moving in that direction, kind of branding each of our games. We didn't pro wrestling night didn't make the cut this year.
Get nuts.
I have no doubt that'll be one that gets filtered in sometime. But this year, we're really focusing on honoring the community. We have our teachers' night. We have our local heroes night. We have a military night, youth sports night, our nonprofit night. I'm really looking at forward to the opportunity to honor all of our nonprofits that are in the Everett area and the great community work that they do every day. This is really about honoring those that have stuck with us from day one. We'll have those extra fun ones next season, but this season is in some sense a big thank you to the community for sticking with us from day one. Those that welcomed us with open arms, that people that will drop what they're doing and create Velcro logos for our uniforms because they were in Pakistan instead of in Seattle. This
At your
really
other
is.
house.
This really is a big thank you year to those that have supported us.
So I'm hearing shades within the ownership group and your all's philosophy. I'm hearing shades of Jesse Cole and the Savannah Bananas and kind of some of his philosophy.
Get out of my head, Scott. I was just thinking the exact same thing.
I mean, that's just the same thing. He strives every time. How can we make the fan experience better? What didn't go well? What can we add? What can we take away? And just constantly evaluating and making it all about that experience. And like I said, I think you guys have done that. That's why you go 2-10 and sell double the tickets.
Yeah, amazing what we're going to do when we go 10-2,
Right.
where we'll have the place sold out by the end of the season. No, it's all about how the game makes you feel from the fan side, and that's not lost on us. And I love, part of my role is I'm wandering the crowd. I'm talking to people at the merch stand. For year one, I sold all of the merchandise. I was the guy in the merch stand, and so I try to always find people whose first game it is. Young families talking with young kids, and just kind of getting that perspective, because I want them to feel that this is an amazing experience, and we've all had opportunities to feel that when we're younger. And my favorite response is when I talk to a parent with 2 young kids, and they're like, this is kind of frustrating. The kids are enjoying this more than we took them to a Seahawks game, and it's 1/10 of the cost, and they're having a better time here because of the proximity to the players. I mean, you see in the picture background here, you are on top of the game. The fans are part of the game. You're not 30, 40 yards away in the crowd behind all the players and the photographers. You are part of the game as an arena football fan, and there's nothing like it. And so anybody who's watching who hasn't been to a game, if you're in the Everett area, come to our games. If you're in any other market, go check out those games. When we come play your team, come watch us. If I'm there, say hi to me. Oh, I love that barcode that comes up. Buy 2 tickets and bring a friend. It's such an amazing experience, and the AF1 is the pinnacle of arena football. And so this is where you want to invest your energy, invest your eyes, and invest your time and passion.
Yeah, like you said, my 6-year-old, he loves going to the games, but he can't wait for the game to be over, because all he wants to do is get out on the field and go see his favorite players, and he gets all excited. I mean, that's the highlight of his night. He'll be dog tired, but you bet he's running up and down that field.
Oh, it's great, and we've always had a great group of high character players who put everything they have into this game, and even even when we're down 40 points, or we've been down 40 points, to see the effort and the passion and the drive from our players, and then to come out and interact with the fans and be that ambassador of arena football to the fans. That is such an amazing part of our game. And I speak highly of Coach Wells. I'll always defend him until I'm dead and in the ground. But also the quality individuals of players that we have had in our first 2 years, and a lot gets said about our payroll and our record, and I hope I hope it's never lost that the amazing people that we've had part of this program, and to do what they've done on the field, to play as hard as they had, to put us in positions to win games, to win a few games. But even when you have that really tough loss, to still come out and make sure the fans have had a great time, to talk to the kids, to sign autographs, shake hands, take pictures. That takes a lot of character, and we've always had high character individuals here, and some of them have gone on to do great things in arena football, and I'm proud of everyone who's ever put a Washington Wolfpack helmet on their head.
Speaking of, you need to get Max back from Tulsa. He's just a great guy, great little receiver.
He is, and he's one of those that's certainly near the top of the list when I talk about that high character individual that we've had. I love Max, and Max is one who stepped up to be a replacement player when in year one, when Rapid City was having some trouble, and then joined our team, and has gone on to continue to do great things for himself and his family. And yes, again, I say I'm proud of everybody that's ever put a Washington Wolfpack helmet on their head.
So I wanted to ask you, you kind of mentioned some of the northern teams of the past. You guys are kind of a little bit of an island. You got Oregon down the road, but you're kind of on an island out there. What's your dream? Because I mean, travel's huge. That's one of the bigger costs for y'all. What's your dream in terms of if you could put teams anywhere to make your life easier?
Scott, I think this is going to be one of those answers that gets me in trouble, because the headline's going to see Miguel Morga of Washington Wolfpack announces future expansion teams.
Yeah, nothing said,
which that is not what I'm doing here. I want to be clear. We were talking a little before the show started, just kind of chatting. I want to see a team in British Columbia. If Vancouver, Richmond, Surrey, one of those either smaller cities or Vancouver, I think would be amazing. I think this sport fits in with Canadian football. I think it fits in with people who are hockey enthusiasts. I'm a hockey fan myself, and we get some crossover support from not necessarily football fans, but Everett Silvertips fans that are in the Everett area. So I would love to see a team somewhere in British Columbia, because I think that would be good selfishly, that would be good for our travel. But I think that would be great for the league. And I think a team goes in British Columbia. We've got a team in Michigan. Maybe Windsor wants to jump on board. Maybe we can get a team in Ontario, Toronto. I see a lot of potential with Canadian expansion. I think that would be an amazing growth effort for us. I'd like to see a team in
about the Spokane
Utah.
Shock, bring them back.
What's that?
Spokane Shock. That's far enough away. It shouldn't be eating too much into your.
No, it wouldn't. That wouldn't negatively impact us. That would be great, and that fan base is incredible. And I do some professional wrestling over in Spokane, and so when I'm over there, I try not to say anything nice about them. So maybe I shouldn't say anything nice here, but Spokane's an amazing market, and their fans are phenomenal diehards, and some of them have come out to support us. I would love to see a team in Spokane. I'd love to see a team in Utah. Love to see a team in Colorado. There are opportunities in the Western United States that I think we could see some really successful teams and really build a culture of arena football around. But my dream target, and that was the question, is definitely British Columbia, because I think that international feel and approach, I think would just be amazing for the AF1 and us.
Victoria, BC has an arena which fits the model of today's AF1. They held 7,400 people.
Mhm.
So I've always said it too, as a resident Canadian here on the show. Albany. I've always said, if you get Montreal, Quebec City, and Ottawa, they're all within
Beautiful.
driving distance, and they're all within that fan zone that everybody can drive to.
Yes.
Same thing in Minnesota, for Minnesota now. Same thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, with where some of our teams are geographically located, they're definitely partner cities in Canada that would be, I think, amazing for us. Yes, Boise and Salt Lake City; those are another two that I think would be really successful with arena football.
Again, just travel in general. Like I said, you guys got it, rough being kind of on an island, but at least, you're essentially in Seattle. Everett's essentially a portion of Seattle. So you've got a major airport right there. I don't know how the folks in Oregon do it. I mean, you want to talk about an island. They're on an island within an island.
Here's what I can say about Chuck Jones down in Oregon. He's going to do whatever it takes. I don't know how he does it. I don't think the man sleeps. I don't think he's slept in 3 years. He is grinding every day, and yes, we do have the advantage of Seattle. Although we've had some interesting experiences when we've tried to travel to Kansas, that always seems to be our
those Kansas teams weren't exactly near a major airport either. So,
but yeah, Oregon, how they're set up, that is an additional headache. But there's no one more capable of dealing with the headaches and the setbacks and the struggles of arena football than Chuck Jones, and we're excited to host Oregon week 1. That's a statement game. I think it's a statement game for both of us. So and Chuck will always have his team ready to play, and I know Coach Wells will have our team ready to play. It's going to be a great game. But from the travel side, it is a challenge, and it's going to be a challenge until we kind of flesh out what does the map look like. I think we have a good base here. I think where our teams are strategically located lean towards additional expansion. So I think we're gonna see that growth, and we'll see some more sustainable travel opportunities, which I'm definitely looking forward to.
yeah, I would
like to have a team here for the first time since 2002. I'll be more than happy to have a team.
I'll put a plug in for St. Louis. I mean, save me a lot of driving if they get a team here.
Yeah, in St. Louis, often it's funny you say that, because St. Louis is always the city I think about after I've named every other city, and I think it's because as a Milwaukee Brewers fan, the Cardinals have caused us trouble too many times that maybe I just don't think about. I don't let myself think about St. Louis, but St. Louis would be another amazing Midwestern city, and I think Milwaukee could also be another major city.
Milwaukee was a fun town to see games. I always enjoyed going to games in Milwaukee. It's a good time out there.
Yeah, Milwaukee's a great sports town, and with the tailgating and some of the things that we do, there are some Green Bay Packers elements, Milwaukee Brewers elements, just with kind of that culture around supporting a team that I've certainly tried to borrow as much of that as I can, and how we create our experiences here and working with the other collaborators as part of this team.
So again, I don't kind of get off this travel, but I do want to kind of put in my own plug. Howie Hansen, who just commented about Milwaukee Medicine, he's got an article coming out tomorrow on our website about travel and kind of his opinion of where each team struggle or benefits from their locations. So just kind of keep an eye out on that tomorrow for everybody watching.
I'd be really interesting where he has us ranked on that.
So yeah, like I said, being in a major city, I think is a huge benefit for you guys. I mean, again, you talk about Dodge City, Kansas, and Salina, and Bend, Oregon. They're just harder to get to. I mean, it's a 3-hour drive from the airport period. On
Yeah.
top of everything else.
When we had to play in Dodge City our first year, we were flying from Seattle to Denver, and then we were going to go to Denver to Dodge City.
Long drive.
While we were in the air to Denver, they canceled all of the flights to Dodge City and the return flights. So we had to rent vans and drive from Denver to Dodge City and then back to Denver to come back. So that's what, like I said before, those Kansas excursions can be a challenge. But I will say, and I know Southwest Kansas and Salina no longer play in the AF1, but when you talk about just high character ownership groups, that experience, Dodge City couldn't have been more accommodating to us and trying to help out and facilitate our travel as we were dealing with that. It truly was, we're all in this together. And that's what I love about the AF1. That's what I love about the ownership groups here is there isn't a single one of us that isn't rooting for every other team to be successful.
Yeah, they're good ownership groups, good fans, good atmosphere. Like everything in those Kansas teams was great, except their locations. and I lived in Kansas City at the time, so it was close for me, but it's still, those locations were brutal. I think that with the teams we've added, I mean, even Beaumont's just a short drive from Houston. All the teams we've had are nice and close to some major hub, and I think that's going to make things a lot easier for everybody.
Yeah, I think Duluth might be a challenge, but it'll still be a good time.
Tim, what you thinking? I thought I saw those eyes working.
Tim's planning all those Canadian AF1 teams that I'm waiting for that headline tomorrow.
I've been doing that for 20 years, Miguel. So I mean, ever since the Phantoms left. But no, I will admit, you guys, again, I don't mean to go back on this, but I am impressed on how you guys you've gone about it. Every franchise wants to go wins, losses is always the be all end all. And I want to give your organization the props for flipping it on its head, try to do something different, making sure that you are known in the community. And as you said earlier in the show, now's the time to show what not only the city can do, but also what this team can do with the current, your current organization can do on the field. And again, I just want to give you props because, as I said, sometime ever since the league AFL folded in 2019, people have had to do some different things, and you guys, it's not the norm to do what you did. So I applaud you for thinking outside of the box, and I wish you guys nothing but success in 2026.
I appreciate it, and we hope we'll get you out to a game sometime.
So, tomorrow's announcement, is it going to be press release? Is it going to be a streamed announcement? What can we expect?
We'll announce it. We'll announce it through a press release, and we have some advertising that are coming. And this is it's another one of those worst kept secret things. I think the three of us might be the only one who aren't saying it. But it's really exciting for us. It's another one of those milestone moments of getting into local broadcasting, and just the partnership there and what we're able to do and coordinating that with our national streaming. It's really going to be a great experience. But we'll be sure to get you the news, and or another one of those. Check out the social media, and you probably already see it. But it's a game changer. And we're doing this. We've felt I use the same word that I use with our players. We consider ourselves ambassadors to this sport, and so we want to be the standard. And what we're creating here, and our hope through this local broadcasting deal, then becomes the standard in all of these other markets, and kind of part of that growth model for arena football. So it's really exciting. On paper, might not be the biggest thing in the world, but we are looking at it as a milestone moment in the Washington Wolfpack, what will be the Washington Wolfpack story.
That's not nothing by any means. I mean, having your own broadcast deals, that's a big thing, especially, I mean, man, easy access for local fans to see you on TV as opposed to finding a streaming app somewhere. And like, that's a big deal. That's a real big deal. I'm excited to see where this takes you all for sure. So, before we get here, so anything you want to pitch, anything you want to put out there for folks? We got the ticket link up at the top corner by Tim. What else you want to put out there for folks?
This is a great opportunity to watch the Washington Wolfpack, and as I said before, this is a big thank you year to those that have stood with us from day one, and who are going to be part of this partnership for decades with the Washington Wolfpack and arena football here in the Everett area and the AF1. So I can't say it strong enough. It's how I end every interview. This is where you want to invest your passion, your time, your energy, your resources. It's the AF1, and the Washington Wolfpack are going to put it all on the line. Every team's going to be competing for those playoff spots and to get to the arena crown. And there's no team in this league that's not going to be exciting to watch. So I can't wait for April 11th, the first Vice game with Albany and Minnesota. And then Sunday, check out the Washington Wolfpack and the Oregon Lightning. It's going to be a great game. There's no game between Washington and Oregon that's been boring in the past 2 years, and it's going to be exciting. Year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6, all the way for the next 20-25 years.
So I know I'm finally getting that fire back. It's been a slow burn this year, but it's finally started kicking as the season's getting a little bit closer. So, but yeah, Miguel, thank you so much. Like, it's always a great time talking with you. We need to make this happen a little more often, I think.
Absolutely, I'm available anytime.
So, and as always, Tim, thank you so much. We love your wisdom. Always take you here.
I'm always happy to give my thoughts.
All right. And Miguel, if you can hang on for a little bit, we'll chat a little bit after the show. But yeah,
Sounds
thanks
great.
everyone. Yep, thanks everyone for coming in, and we'll be back. We'll start getting this a little more regularly here now that the season's getting going. So we'll be seeing y'all again very soon. Take care, all.
Touchdowns, tackles we discuss.